then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Icon Cup Series on SRM. Here, Sunday night, as always, we are at the Homestead Miami 240 here, and the season is almost wrapped up. I'm Shane Cochran up in the booth. Along with me tonight, as usual, is Alan Bergen. Alan, how's your weekend going?
Man, it is going great. You know, it's Sunday night, and this is one night that I always look forward to throughout the week, and that is Sunday night to get ready to rock and rumble for the week. What a way to end the weekend here with the Icon Cup Series here. As they're in warm-up right now.
Yeah,
and I tell you what, the driver to look out for right now is Brexton DeWeese.
Yeah, there's a lot to catch up on since the wrap-up of last week's race. So first, let's look at our schedule. And remember where we are. We are starting the round of the Final Four here at Homestead, then Martinsville next week, and Phoenix for the season finale where we crown our champ. And let's take a look at those point standings. So the Final Four drivers all on even playfield here after the points reset. Brian Smith, Patrick Colby, Braxton DeWeese, and Ryan Patty. And if you're wondering, hey, why is Ryan Patty in and not Jacob Smith? There was a penalty levied against the number 4 car last week for some contact made under caution. That penalty took Jacob Smith out of the Final Four, and that brought in Ryan Patty, the next in line. So that is going to be your Final Four for these final 3 races. So, you know, the end of the playoffs never without drama, but a little bit extra here this week as the Icon Cup Series had to use, you know, their council of, I forget what they call it, but they have a kind of a unbiased panel of folks that come in and decide things when it affects the playoffs and drivers like this. And that's what they decided. So Ryan Patty, the last driver to make it into the Final Four. I'm going to get it going here at Homestead. And this Final Four, a little bit different than the other rounds. No bonus points or anything carrying over. So all 4 drivers on an even playing field for the final 3 races. And that 8 car, as you mentioned, Alan, Braxton DeWeese, someone we've seen have speed all season. Obviously, Brian Smith has been dominant. But all of these drivers certainly have a shot to bring home the championship in these last 3 races.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you win the night or if you don't win the night. You're still going. You're still going to Phoenix in 2 weeks' time to race in that Final Four. So really, I mean, the only thing that they could do is try to pad their points lead and try to get as many points as they can before we get to Phoenix. Now, Shane, I tell you what, this is what this playoff system is designed to do. Is create the action, create the excitement that comes with racing here in the Icon Cup Series. Once again, we man, I say we get to spend every Sunday night with this fan base here and be fans ourselves here. But we got 240 laps or 240 miles here, 160 laps, Shane. And stages will be completed at 50 and 100, with that third stage being a 60-lap run to the end.
Yeah, fuel window somewhere right around 40 laps tonight, so you're going to need to stop in each of the stages early on. And I don't think Homestead is a track where maybe for the end of the race you could try to save fuel and run long, but you're not going to want to do that at the stages. So we'll expect to see everybody on pit lane at least once in each of the first 2 stages, and then kind of see how it plays out there at the end. Drivers have wrapped up qualifying and have about 40 more seconds of warm-up here on track. But this is just a great track. Homestead was the championship race for many years in the IRL NASCAR League. It always seems to put on a good race. There's high line and low line kind of perfectly balanced, so you can dive down to the bottom, try a slide job, or you can hug the wall, kind of a Kyle Larson-esque line, and carry all that momentum off the turn onto the straights. And yeah, it just always puts on a good show. It's going to be 80 degrees air temp and 83 degrees track temp. And it's about 6 p.m. in the evening. So we might be driving into the sunset, maybe into getting the lights on here a little later in the race. But right now, sun is out and on the track, but not too hot. 83 degrees track temp should be plenty of grip for these drivers to be aggressive early and all race long. Looks like warm-up has wrapped up. So this is going to be our drivers heading down to pit road to get in the car. Pull those belts tight, get your helmet on straight. And it looks like Ryan Patty in the 30 is going to be on pole with Braxton DeWeese to his outside. His drivers are heading to their car. Braxton DeWeese starting second. Brian Smith starting third. So the top 3 qualifiers in the Final Four. Patrick Colby, that 4th Final Four driver, he's back in 7th here on the grid. And it looks like everybody has gotten to their car. And the pace truck's going to be heading around this track here in Homestead, Miami. And with that, we'll go ahead and start our grid for the night. Ryan Patty on pole, Braxton DeWeese in P2. Then on row 2, it's going to be Brian Smith and Adam Ball. Cody Neal and Jacob Smith in row 3. Patrick Colby and Charles Woods in row 4. Then row 5 will be Chris Camburn and Charlie Widener rounding out your top 10. Then Brock Hersey and Robert Bloom on row 6. followed by Hanover Fist and Bentley Glazer in row 7. Jake Champion and Kyle Diaz in row 8. And then Brad Delph in 17th. Doesn't look like Brad actually started the race. He might be running race control for Icon tonight. But it is going to be Ryan Patty and Braxton DeWeese on the front row with Brian Smith right there in row 2 to get this thing started. We take a look at our tower graphic. We will have the final 4 drivers highlighted in blue for these final 3 races, and just like that, the green flag is out, and Ryan Patty is leading them back to the green flag at Homestead, Miami. And those top 3 roll. Adam Ball sideways and into the wall.
Oh, that's not a good start there for Adam Ball in that number 19 car. As we are almost racing in the sunset here. Working lot number 1.
Yeah, we were watching. There's already a battle for the lead. Ryan Patty up high, Braxton DeWeese down low. When we get a chance here, we will go back and take a look at what happened to the 19. And DeWeese having a little bit of a network issue here early in the race. Seen him blink a number of times.
Yeah, that has plagued him somewhat this season here, but nonetheless, Ryan Patty in that number 30, in the Valvoline number 30, I should say, leading the way here over Braxton DeWeese and Brian Smith.
Then Cody Neal and Jacob Smith are side by side for 4th. And so far, it looks like the high line is where you want to be, Alan. We saw Patty take the lead up there. We just saw Neal kind of pull ahead of the 4 car.
Yeah, most definitely 2x2. Goodyear to Goodyear down the back straightaway. Cody Neal, though, showing the way. Right, you know, that. Look, that's the 4th, 5th, and 6th spots right there. Your 3rd, 4th, and 5th is all Buddy Motorsports. As Ryan Patty goes ahead and sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, so now that it's calmed down a little bit, let's go back and check on what happened to Adam Ball in the 19. It was on the opening lap right here. So on lap 1, he starts in 4th position on the outside of Brian Smith. And then just got loose all on his own. You know, it's just cold tires. You get into the gas a little too fast. Doesn't look like he had, you know, any serious damage. I don't think he got his wheel out of sorts or anything like that. You can see a little bit of damage on the front right fender. He's going to have all night and those 2 stage breaks at least to get some repairs done and clean up that 19 car.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, Ryan Patty has been nothing but short of amazing right now.
Starting on the pole now with a 3/10 of a second lead. Just 6 laps into this 160 lap race. And Patty looking good out front. Closest battle right now is this one right here between the 38 and the 28 of Cody Neal and Patrick Colby. Colby trying to get it done down low, but like I said, the high line has been dominant here early in this race. I think the only time that low line is going to be helpful is if you get a huge bit of momentum and you just need to do a dive bomb and a slide job, but otherwise, it just seems like being up high near the wall is where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of grip up there. Right now, these guys are running that low to the middle of the racetrack. Not too many guys have ventured out there. There's a couple of guys back in the back that has tried to venture up there, but not too many. As we were working lap 8 of 60 here. We're trying to get to lap number 50 to do the stage.
Good 4-car battle back here for 8th. Charlie Widener, Bentley Glazer, Charles Woods, Jake Champion. well as Chris Camburn, so it's really a battle for 7th. As we were watching Champion try to get around Woods on the outside. Oh, Camburn sideways into the wall. That's going to be our first caution of the night. Big contact.
Oh, number 9.
Camburn still backwards on the track. You can see the front end of that 88 car pushed in pretty bad.
I really hope that doesn't draw a meatball flag for the 88 car.
He does not have one yet on my screen. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Chris. He's up pretty high, pretty close to the wall, and just gets loose. And that's right in front of the 95. The 95 tags him, then the 87, then the 27. So we were watching this battle for 7th. All of those cars tightly packed in there, some of them side by side, and you just don't have enough time to react.
Oh man, what a disappointing way to start Homestead off.
Just 10 laps in. Now this is a bit of an interesting spot because that first stage is coming at lap 50. The fuel window is about 40 laps. So anybody who pits here is going to have a pretty good chance to finish out the stage. We'll see if anybody goes for that option. And it looks like everybody's coming down, so easy decision, right?
Easy decision.
So the entire field coming down pit road here. We'll see if anybody does anything special on tires, but you know, with a caution this early in the race, I think I'm going fuel only because I probably want to try and save all the tires I can for the second half of the race.
I mean, we're only 11 laps in. There's no sense in, you know, burning a set of tires this early in the race.
Well, Patrick Colby disagrees with both of us, Alan. Looks like every single car went fuel only there on that stop until you get to Patrick Colby, who took 4 fresh tires. He's going to start back in 12th on this restart, but we'll see what advantage that 10 laps gives him.
He does not agree with 15 other drivers either.
Well, right now, his other final 4 competitors running 1, 2, 3, he's going to have to do something different to get an advantage over those 3 running at the front of the pack. This might be the way to do it. Now he's kind of hoping this stays green all the way through the end of the stage so he can get the maximum benefit of those fresh tires. So we'll have to keep our eye on 12th place Patrick Colby. I want to thank everybody watching out there on the YouTube channel. Let us know who you're pulling for, who you think's going to win, if that's any different. And who's your championship favorite here with just 3 races remaining in the Icon Cup Series playoffs?
Well, no one has tried to free Vinny this week, so.
Oh, don't give him any ideas.
Just saying.
So Camburn able to get some repairs done. Jake Champion also getting both of them getting about a minute of repairs taken care of on pit road. And we're going to be coming back to the green flag here as Pace Truck should hit pit road and cut Ryan Patty, Brian Smith, Braxton DeWeese, and Jacob Smith loose here at the front of the field. Green flag is out. Ryan Patty with a great jump down on the bottom. And now the outside lane coming with a head of steam. Patty up high.
And this is one of those tracks that plays very well in the Brian Smith's repertoire, driving style, if you will, as he is coming down the back chute He is stuck in that number 30 car. Run, Ryan, run.
We have been to Homestead twice this season already. First race won by Braxton DeWeese back in March. Then again in June, Bentley Glazer picked up the win in that one. So no clear historical dominance, at least not this season. And that's kind of just. Oh, go ahead.
Are you saying that Braxton DeWeese got a shot here?
I'm saying absolutely. Sitting right there in fourth on the bumper of Jacob Smith. And we had talked about Patrick Colby, the only car to take tires. He's already gained 2 positions in 2 laps. Up to 10th. Now trying to get around Woods. We got a lot of traffic to get through to catch up to the top 3. Meanwhile, Brian Smith trying to catch Ryan Patty out front. Got it down to 2/10. His teammate Jacob Smith riding in third. And we talked a lot about, who's got the motivation to do what. We of course, our Final 4 drivers all want to have a great race, but if you're Jacob Smith and a penalty took you out of contention, you've got to be thinking, hey, I'm going to show them who they should have had in this Final 4 round. I'm going to go out here and just dominate these drivers. I expect a huge chip on the shoulder of Jacob Smith to make a statement about how fast that 4 car is, what kind of trophies he deserves. Smith down low on Patty. We're riding along with third place Jacob Smith right now, and you can see that battle for first as Brian Smith is going to take it away from the 30 car. Now Patty dives down low, trying the crossover. He's going to tuck in behind the 78 now. Colby now up to 9th. Ooh, Patty with a big swerve coming out of turn 4. That's going to back him right up to Jacob Smith and Braxton DeWeese.
Jacob Smith's not going to make it easy on Ryan Patty, and Ryan Patty not going to make it easy on Jacob Smith.
Yeah, and that actually costs Jacob the position as Braxton got a run on the outside, tucked in behind the 30.
So if you're Jacob Smith and you had that penalty levied against you, do you kind of race, Ryan a little more aggressively, or do you, he's in the playoffs, I'm not, we'll just let him by?
Yeah, I don't expect any, any bad blood between these drivers at this point. That was last week. This is this week. It's a whole different set of playoff drivers and what's going on now. I think the 4's definitely got to be disappointed and frustrated with how that played out. But at this point, he doesn't want to do anything to jeopardize anyone's Final 4. And he's probably focused more on just building momentum, getting some wins at the end of the season, and carrying that momentum into next season.
Yeah, most definitely there. So we got a few more guys venturing out to the high side. Braxton DeWeese, our top 3 playoff drivers so far, running 1, 2, 3 on board with Braxton. And we got a yellow. We have a yellow.
There
Charlie
it is.
Widener.
Second caution of the night here in the Homestead Miami 240. As you said,
probably throw a set of tires on.
Charlie Widener, the driver involved. We'll take a look at what happened to the 95. Got Patrick Colby down low, and I mean that's pretty much the 3rd or 4th incident we've seen where drivers just snap loose on their own. Don't think he has any contact. No, keeps it out of the wall and out of traffic. But that is enough to bring out the second caution of the night. Well, Adam Ball, or sorry, Patrick Colby is that driver on fresh tires. He's made it up to 8, so he gained 4 positions in about 6 or 7 laps. That wasn't as dominant as I was expecting some fresh tires to be. So we might see some split decisions here, and there it is. Jacob Smith and Bentley Glazer elect to come down pit road, most likely to throw on some tires. But everybody else staying out. Got a few more drivers there in the back. Bloom, Widener, Camburn, and Champion. Also coming down pit road. So now we'll have a bit of a split strategy. The top 10 cars all pitted back on lap 10. Most of them taking just fuel only, except Patrick Colby, who will be in 6th now, as he took 4 tires back on lap 10. About 12 laps ago. Then coming out of the pits in 12th will be Jacob Smith. Or sorry, Bentley Glazer, actually the first car to come off of pit road that came this time, but he went fuel only. So Jacob Smith going with 4 tires. Robert Bloom fuel only. Widener, I think Widener went 2 tires.
Yep.
So we're going to have a completely shook up strategy here towards the back half of the field anyway. I still think Patrick Colby's probably in the best position because he's got, you know, kind of a nice compromise of track position and fresher tires. Going to be 1 to green this time around. Brian Smith is the leader, I believe. And I think it was Ryan Patty. I think maybe they're just kind of passing back and forth here. Under caution. Smith is listed on the leaderboard, but I do believe Ryan Patty is the actual leader. No, what am I saying? No, we watched Brian Smith go around the 30 car when we were riding along with Jacob. I'm all turned around backwards tonight.
It's okay. It happens.
So Brian Smith going to lead him back to green. He chose the outside lane. That puts Ryan Patty to the inside with Braxton DeWeese on his back bumper. Adam Ball, the 4th place driver there on the outside. Smith with a great jump. Patty already clears Ball and dives down low. And again, this is kind of classic next-gen Cup car racing. You're going to tuck in behind the guy in front of you on the straights and then try to find some clean air in the turns wherever you can find it. If he goes low, you go high. If he goes to the middle, you go anywhere else.
Yeah, we're having to do stage 1, and these guys, you know, only 2 cautions. What's the 3rd one coming up in 25 laps time? Here comes Ryan Patty looking to make a move. Braxton DeWeese still having those connection issues. Hopefully he can get those resolved before the end of this one.
And here comes Patrick Colby, now up to 5th, looking for 4th on the inside of Ball. Those 10-lap fresher tires certainly not hurting him at this point in the race. They're side by side now for a second as Braxton DeWeese dives inside of Ryan Patty. Patty way up by the wall, trying to get a head of steam off of this turn. DeWeese clears him, but Patty is right there, giving him a little bit of a shove. Meanwhile, Ball was able to hold off Patrick Colby for at least one more turn, but here comes the 28 down low. He's going to take that spot away. He's up to 4th. Now our final 4 drivers are your top 4 drivers in the race. Everyone knowing how important those stage points are. You cannot afford to play the long game and just be there at the end of the race. You've got to be there all race long to get those points. Right now, Brian Smith out front. Braxton DeWeese, Ryan Patty, and Patrick Colby in the top 4.
Yeah, definitely got to be there at the end. Can't waste any time, though. I mean, really, if you, because points still do accumulate here. So, I mean, you still got to be aggressive and get there, get to the front.
You see Kyle Diaz in 8th. We're going to say, where did he come from? Well, he's gained 8 positions since the start of the race to get into the top 10. Diaz on the move. Bentley Glazer, another driver, gaining 5 positions to get into the top 10. And Patrick Colby has gained 3 from where he started using that pit strategy, now in the top 5. Now Jacob Smith has caught Patrick Colby. And Jacob also on 4 fresh tires, but even fresher than those on that 28 car as he pitted this last caution. About 12 laps later. These two battling for 4th. Looks like Smith tagged the wall just a little bit. Didn't slow him down, though.
No, absolutely not. And that's the thing. You can rub the wall a little bit. Here on lap 32, on board with that 28 car. Roll Tide, Alabama colors. Trying to get that car to the front. I mean, he's locked in. He's locked into that battle.
Top 5 drivers all pretty close here at the front right now. It's about a half second back to 6th place Cody Neal. Colby not going away. Still right in the shadow of the 4 car. Again, these 2 cars, 28 and the 4, have the fresher tires on the field. See if they're able to track down those top 3 of Smith, DeWeese, and Patty. DeWeese just hanging in tight. Looks like he's just kind of searching for a line that's going to give him an edge over that 78, now up high.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are working lap number 35 of 50, Braxton DeWeese just kind of inching closer and closer to Brian Smith there in that number 78 car. I mean, just takes a little bit off each time.
Yeah, he was just about 2 100ths a lap faster than Brian Smith that last lap. But both of them slower than the 3 cars behind them. At least the sun has gone down enough that it's not in the driver's eyes coming off turn 4. Ryan Patty just remains dedicated to that high line. He's not right on the wall, maybe about a car width or a half a width off the wall. Jacob Smith in 4th, kind of searching around like Deweese is, trying to find where is the speed here. Seems like everybody up front comfortable running high or low. They're just trying to figure out which one's faster.
As we almost have 3 wide situation going on.
Yeah, Jacob drifted up to that second lane. I don't think that was on purpose there, that corner before, and that slowed him up, and he gave Colby a good run on him. Cody Neal in 6th place is right behind that 28 car.
Ryan Smith finds himself up in the lead. As well, Ryan Petty has now lost a second over Ryan Smith. Here comes Jacob Smith to the inside. He's looking low, and that's gonna put Ryan Petty down to 5th.
And there it is again. The fresh tires on the 4 car. He's got 22 lap fresher tires than everybody else in front of him. Patrick Colby has 10 laps fresher tires than everybody else in the top 3. Right now, Jacob Smith is on the move with 11 laps to go. Is he going to have time to track down the leaders of Brian Smith and Braxton Deweese? He's less than a second out of the lead. Or sorry, make that a second and a quarter. Starting to gain a little ground, but he's going to have to do it faster to catch him before the end of the stage. And Deweese has just kind of been hanging there in the tire tracks of Brian Smith. Not really putting any pressure on him yet, but not falling back either.
No, he's not. Braxton Deweese just kind of holding pat there. 9 laps to go. He knows this is a long race. He knows there's 2 50-lap segments plus the 60-lap segment to close this one out here.
Three-tenths of a second separate first and second. Then it's another 7/10 back to Jacob Smith, coming with fresher tires. A bit of a battle here between Patty and Neal. This is for 5th place, and you see the 30 gets sideways.
Oh, boy.
And save it. And Jacob Smith up ahead of him might have done the same thing. He was also way down the track near the apron. And that's going to let Colby back by him and derail his run to the front here with just 7 laps to go now in stage 1. Deweese starting to lose touch with Brian. Now 6/10 of a second between these two at the front. Adam Ball and Bentley Glazer are battling. There goes
Bentley
Glazer.
What a save.
I think we're starting to see the tires give up, specifically the rear tires, at the end of this run. As Smith, Patty, and Glazer all having issues in the last 2 laps.
And this is not a condition that these guys experienced the last 2 times that we've been here to Homestead Miami Speedway, especially at March, and now as we make the return trip here tonight.
Jacob Smith has gotten it back organized. He's trying to get that spot back from Patrick Colby now. That is for third. 5 to go in the stage. Top 3 drivers are in the final 4. Ryan Patty is that 4th driver. He's just in 6th. All of our playoff drivers bringing the speed tonight. Kyle Diaz trying to get around. I believe that's Adam Ball in the 19. This is a battle for 7. Not a lot of side-by-side battling here as everyone's gotten spaced out. 3 laps to go in the stage. It's Brian Smith out front now, almost by a full second over Braxton DeWeese and Patrick Colby.
Three laps left to go here in stage number 1. It's Brian Smith, Braxton DeWeese, Patrick Colby, Ryan Patty all the way back down there in 6th position to make that 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks are in the air for stage number 1.
Right now, all 16 cars in the race still on the lead lap. The 27 of Jake Champion is just in front of Brian Smith. You can see him in frame there. Picked up damage earlier from an incident, made some repairs, but it looks like it's still slowing him down. He's going to be doing everything he can to stay on the lead lap here. Maybe just stay out of the way. He will be the only car 1 lap down, so he'll catch the lucky dog if Brian gets around him. Looks like he will, so Champion falls back into the lucky dog position. First car and only car 1 lap down. Smith still maintaining about a 2nd lead over 2nd place Braxton DeWeese. He comes through turns 3 and 4. He is going to grab the first stage win of the round of the final 4 here on lap 50. There's your stage caution. Brian Smith scoring the points that he needs to keep his playoff run going. That's Brian Smith, Braxton DeWeese, Patrick Colby, Jacob Smith, Cody Neal, Ryan Patty, Kyle Diaz, Adam Ball, Bentley Glazer, and Charles Woods all picking up stage points here at the end of stage 1. And while these drivers get stacked back up, re-racked for the restart, hit pit road, we're going to take our first commercial break of the night. We'll be right back for more of the Homestead Miami 240 with the Icon Cup Series on SRM. Welcome back to Homestead Miami with the Icon Cup Series on SRM. We've got playoff racing here on Sunday night. Brian Smith wins stage 1, and he's going to lead him back to green with his teammate Cody Neal on the outside. His other teammate Jacob Smith on his bumper. And Ryan Patty in row 2 in 4th place. Pace truck hits pit road. And the green flag is out again. Brian Smith with a great jump. He's already up in front of Cody Neal to arc it into turn 1. Oh, Jacob gonna slide up in front of Neal as Patty's coming hard on the outside. He throws a block.
Oh.
Does Jacob.
And he just... Say, Ryan Patty just used the wall and about 3 billboards to get around that corner.
Yeah, and don't forget last week it was Patty and Jacob Smith that got together, brought out an early caution, and then had contact under caution that resulted in a penalty for the 4-car. So I wouldn't expect any bad blood to spill over to this week, but that was some tight racing and a heavy block by the 4-car. That's going to cost Patty a few more positions as now Braxton DeWeese goes by on the bottom. Colby thought about it but backed off. Now he's going to shoot to the bottom. A lot of dirty air down on those lower lanes on the track. DeWeese slides up in front of Patty, but he's got a big run. Smith pulling away out front. About a 2-car length gap back to 2nd place Jacob Smith. DeWeese now looking underneath Cody Neal. Some great racing here to start stage 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes Braxton DeWeese. He's Goodyear to Goodyear with Cody Neal in that 38 car. And here comes Patrick Colby, though. He is right behind both these guys. He's got a front row seat to this epic battle going on between the 8 and 38.
We jump up to the SRM blimp. You can see just how close all these drivers are. DeWeese and Neal battling back and forth. And this is what we've seen all night, Alan. When cars get side by side, the inside car gains an advantage on entry, and then the outside car just picks up steam on the exit of the turn down the straightaway, and Cody Neal's going to take that position back. That is 3rd position, but DeWeese fighting back again on the bottom as they're in the dirty air of Jacob Smith in 2nd place. Everybody trying to find clean air. And we're almost 3 wide. But Smith clears Neal on the outside. Now Braxton DeWeese on the bottom. Neck and neck with the 38 on entry. He is able to find some clean air there as Jacob Smith is about a lane off the bottom. I think that's a mistake, Alan. You've got to play defense here as well as offense. I kind of wish Smith would hug that white line and take the air off of the nose of the 8.
Yeah, you're on defense, and I mean, you're playing both sides of the ball as these guys are rocking and rolling around this racetrack. Braxton DeWeese, though, right tucked into that 3rd spot, right behind driver buddy or Buddy Motorsports driver Jacob Smith, and they, you know, Braxton DeWeese, he's in the Buddy Motorsports sandwich right now, or he was.
Yeah, he continues to try to get to the inside of the 4. Going to be there at entry. Can he carry enough speed through the corner? Not this time. It looks like Jacob going to get a run on the high side. Clear the 8. Take 2nd position back for himself. The 78 having the time of his life. Watching all this play out in the mirror. Patty has dropped all the way back to 8th, Alan. I'm not sure if he picked up any damage slapping the wall maybe, but he certainly seemed to have a lot of speed at the beginning of this run. Bentley Glazer has made his way to 7th. Makes him one of the biggest movers of the night, up 7 positions. Kyle Diaz, the other driver, up 7 positions. He's in 9th, not too far behind.
Yeah, here we are in this battle right here with Patrick Colby and Cody Neal. these guys have been battling pretty hard for the last couple laps now. Cody Neal got a front row seat to a battle of his own, and that is with Braxton DeWeese and Jacob Smith. Jacob Smith running high, Braxton DeWeese running low.
Cody Neal able to clear Patrick Colby. He's now up to 4th. Or kind of, I guess, holding on to it. He started up there with these top 4. Now it looks like Braxton going to the outside of Jacob Smith. That might be the way to get it done. We've seen that Highline just be dominant when guys get side by side and try to gain an edge.
Working lap number 14 of the second set of 50 laps as we get to 100 here for the end of stage 2. Braxton DeWeese right now with a 7/10 second disadvantage over Brian Smith. Make it one, we'll call it 1 second back. Jacob Smith, though, trying to wheel that Batman car back up to the front.
Yeah, this has been an interesting kind of give and take here at the beginning of stage 2. Drivers gaining speed for a lap or two and then kind of drifting back. Everybody trading these positions. The exception, of course, being Brian Smith out front. Take a look at our fastest 5 for 5. I mean, Brian Smith in first and Braxton DeWeese in second are the 2 fastest cars on track over the last 5 laps. Then Cody Neal and Jacob Smith, 3rd and 4th, just flip-flopped from their position, but everybody's still pretty much within a 10th of each other up there. We still have 15 cars on the lead lap. Charles Woods is the 1 car a lap down. Glazer starting to go to work on Charlie Widener. That's for 6th position. He's going to take that away. Now, it looked like basically everybody went with 4 tires on that last stop, with the exception of Adam Ball and Brock Hersey at the back of the pack. They went fuel only. I've got to think they're kind of playing the long game, trying to save a set for later in the race. Otherwise, I'm not sure why you'd go fuel only with the risk of only losing 3 or 4 spots. There at the back, Kyle Diaz gets sideways, loses 2 positions.
No. At least he saved it.
So again, that's been the issue we've seen all night. Whether it's a caution or not a caution, drivers just getting loose on their own, and for the most part, keeping it straight afterwards, just losing positions every time it happens. Colby looking to get back around Cody Neal. He got to his inside all the way to the white line in turn 3. He's gonna truck right around the 38 that time. So Colby up to 4th. Cody Neal back to 5th. Bentley Glazer is coming behind him. Once again, we're kind of spaced out, but Bentley Glazer and Cody Neal are battling hard for 5th. I think Glazer just got around him to see if he can run away from him.
Yeah, almost halfway through stage 1, or 2 rather. Wow. Hello. Hi. Welcome to language.
Yeah, we're 18 laps into this fuel run. I see a question in the live chat. What's the fuel window? My calculations say it's about 40 laps. So we're about halfway through that. Drivers will have to stop before the end of stage 2, which will be lap 100 of 160.
I think you split it evenly. Come in lap 25, 26 here in stage 2. You get to the end, you get the 4 tires. Stage 2 a lot cleaner than stage 1 though, and that's the thing we got to be. That's the thing is stage 1 they had that extra pit stop, so now we're really getting to see what a true fuel run actually is.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of options here, Alan. I mean, yeah, splitting it down the middle is usually a safe bet if you think it's going to stay green. I think the question, though, is going to be, do you want to grab tires? Because you could do a fuel-only stop for about 5 seconds. You could do a 2-tire stop for about 9 seconds. A 4-tire stop is kind of unnecessary because you don't need that much fuel. You only need about 1/4 of a tank to finish out the stage. So 4 tires would be a bit of a waste of time. 2 tires even would be, you know, almost twice as long in your pit stall as you need. So if you're up front, if you're Brian Smith or Braxton DeWeese or Jacob Smith, I don't think you even need to be that aggressive. I think you can run it long just in case a caution does come out. But if you're one of these other drivers further to the back, if you're Ryan Patty running in 9th, knowing that you need to get better stage points than those other 3 drivers that are all in the top 5, he might be the driver to try and split this right down the middle and gain a little bit of a tire advantage and see if he can make that pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are working lap number 24 of 50. 2 laps to go until we are officially through the halfway point. And just as we said that, Patrick Colby and Charlie Widener come down pit road. They're going to split the stage right in half. They just said, you know what? We're going to see if this works out.
We'll have to keep an eye on what tires they go with, because I think that's going to set the tone for everybody that comes after them.
So even if, Shane, even if it stays green till the end of the stage and they take 4 tires, all Patrick Colby's got to do is stay ahead of Charlie Widener and needs the lucky dog.
That's true. I mean, but ideally this stays green and you get your lap back when it cycles through and you use those 4 tires to get back around a couple cars. So Brian Smith still in the lead. Jacob Smith and Bentley Glazer now side by side. And Cody Neal's right there with them. He's going to go to the high side. Yeah, right now Patrick Colby sitting in the lucky dog, having already pitted. He went fuel only, Alan. Charlie Widener, though, he went 4 tires. So we can kind of, those two came in right together. We can keep an eye on that for the end of the stage, which one comes out on top. And that might tell you what to do later in the race. Now Braxton DeWeese on pit road. And looking at lap times, I mean, even at this point in the run, it's still less than a second difference between fresh tires and old tires. And you end up spending, you know, 50 seconds on pit road, plus you lose another 10 or 12 seconds getting up to speed. I just don't think the math works out to take 4 tires. You're just not going to gain enough from the time that you spent. But Braxton DeWeese is going to do it. He takes 4 with a 14.6 second stop. Now the other thing you could do, Alan, is you could run out your fuel tank and take the 4 tires and then stay out at the end of the stage.
There's so
there's a lot of options here. And again, that's a kind of an aggressive gamble for anyone who's not really running in the top 5 and wants to try and break their way in on strategy. Kyle Diaz now hitting pit road, as well as Robert Bloom. So Brian Smith still out front. Bentley Glazer is now in second, about 3 seconds back from the 78. Brock Hersey and Adam Ball throwing down for 8th place. So Patrick Colby and Braxton DeWeese, the two drivers that came down pit road early, trying to do the undercut on the leader. But they're both trapped a lap down at the moment. So they cannot afford a caution. Chris
that's what
Camber
they're
now on
banking
pit
on.
road.
That's what they're banking on. They're banking on that caution to come out. Now, however, Stage 2 has been way cleaner than Stage 1.
We are still pretty early in the tire run, just 29 laps on these tires. It was really towards the end of Stage 1 where we saw the rear tires starting to give out and drivers getting sideways a lot in a hurry. First 9 cars still have not pitted on this run. Now Bentley Glazer hitting pit road. Now right now, just taking a peek at Braxton DeWeese. So he took 4 tires. He's only about a half second a lap faster than the leader. But he's maybe a lap and a third behind the 78 as they run. But he knows at some point Brian Smith's got to come down pit road before this stage is over. And every lap that he doesn't, he's gaining that half second. Closest battle for position is this one right here between Champion and Ball. 27 still looks to have visible damage on the front of that car, Alan.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Jake Champion doing everything he can just to kind of to run his own race and just be there at the end. And he's going to come down. He's going to come on down pit road.
Yeah, we saw Hersey kind of swing wide around him just before that. Probably some helpful radio chatter to let him know he was coming to pit road. A lot better than Ty Dillon and William Byron spotters last week.
Oh, no. Which resulted in Ty Dillon's spotter getting let go.
Yeah, Byron having a tough couple of weeks with that DNF last week and then getting spun there coming to the line at Talladega tonight. Lost about 20 positions in the points there. So William Byron going to be in a tight spot to get into the round of 4.
A few drivers are going to be in a tight spot to get in the round of 4. Kyle Larson needs to have himself a great race next week.
Yeah, it's going to be tight for sure. So
I mean, it's only 1 point.
And that's if, you know, someone behind him doesn't grab a win and push that cutoff line up a position. So Brian Smith's still out front. He's got about 4.5 seconds over Cody Neal. But the top 7 have not come to pit road. Patrick Colby's the first car that has pitted. He's still a lap down, having pitted 12 laps ago. By my math, all these folks can only go about 5 more laps before they have to pit. And I expect them all to go.
Not my.
I'm guessing they're all going to go fuel only here. There's no, unless like I said, you could take 4 tires and plan to stay out at the stage. But if you're any of the playoff drivers, you can't really afford to do that. You need to get points. Now Jacob Smith hits pit road.
I was going to say, at least they're doing your math and not my math.
So 36 laps, going to be 37 laps at the line on this tank of fuel. For Brian Smith, Cody Neal, Ryan Patty, Hanover Fist, Adam Ball, and Brock Hersey. And here comes a few more. Cody Neal hitting pit road, pitting out of the 2nd position. The 98's coming with him. That's Charles Woods. Yeah, it looks like 78's coming this time, Alan.
Here he comes down pit road, nice and smooth, just as he done all season long. 11 laps to go here in stage number 2. Make it 10.
And he had such a lead over Ryan Patty, almost 20 seconds. But Patty is just now coming out of turn 4. He's going to stay out at least one more lap, though. So now Patty and Fist running 1-2. With 10 laps to go in the stage. And right now, Braxton DeWeese has gotten around Patrick Colby. So the 4 tires giving him a little more speed, and he is the first car that's pitted already. So as Brian Smith comes out of the pits and rejoins the field, we'll see how those two line up. It looks like Brian Smith is going to be out front by about 5 seconds over the 8. Adam Ball and Brock Hersey are between them, but both of them need to pit.
Yeah, just 9 laps to go here in stage number 2. Hanover Fist finds himself in a peculiar spot as he's got Ryan Patty right behind him.
Yeah, and Patty is trying to pull it off, Alan. I can see how he slowed down there and let Hanover go around. We jump on board, you're going to hear him fully out of the gas, clutch to the floor, coasting this thing around the turns. Here's the problem, though. He's only 5 seconds ahead of Brian Smith, even after Smith pitted. So Fist comes to pit road. Patty takes the lead back. But Brian Smith is coming in a hurry. If you're watching that gap time, it is moving.
It is dwindling down. It is fading faster than the Raiders playoff hopes today.
Now 2 seconds, still 7 laps to go. I'm not sure Patty's going to be able to make it unless he's been kind of systematically saving this whole run. Now 42 laps on the tank. He's got to make it 6 more, and then after the stage comes out, you still have to go another lap and a half to get back to the pits.
Oh, he'll turn it off. He'll turn the car off.
But I know we've had that issue in my own league where drivers would do that and then kind of cause issues under caution. We added a rule: if you couldn't make it to pit road, under power, you get a penalty. And you saw Brian Smith go around Ryan Patty. Patty now in second and maybe out. He's moving slow.
He's going to try to make it back around there. 5 laps to go.
And here comes Hanover Fist. After he pitted, blowing by the 30. He's a lap down. So Patty's still in second. Drifting as much as he can. Here, Braxton DeWeese going to come around the outside. So Patty now in third, but look at all these cars in the shot. These are all for position. Starting with Cody Neal, then Adam Ball, then Patrick Colby, then Bentley Glazer. Still 4 laps to go. And with Patty unable to put the throttle down, he's going to lose more positions, fall back to 7th. Jacob Smith is in 8th. And this is some...
You think he's doing this on purpose?
I I do. I mean, I think he's trying to stretch it. I think ideally he wouldn't have fallen to 7th because I think he was running better than that before he tried to stretch it. But just look at this fuel strategy chart, Alan. We've got Brian Smith out front. He's stopped late, took fuel only. Braxton DeWeese stopped early, got 4 tires. Cody Neal stopped late, took 2 tires. Patrick Colby went early, got fuel. There's every version of a green flag pit strategy going on right now. It's a little too much to keep up with, but all that matters is that Brian Smith is in the lead. He used a fuel only stop and waited about as long as he could, and Ryan Patty is trying to stretch his fuel to the end of stage 2. Still 2 laps to go. Patty coasting around near the bottom. I mean, he's been lucky not to cause an accident, Alan. There's been a couple cars catch him 2 and 3 wide, and made me a little nervous.
Made me a lot of nervous.
So Patty, all the way back to 10th now, about a half lap behind the leader. 1 lap to go, but again, he's still going to have to make that extra lap and a half back to pit road. Here we're watching Robert Bloon and Bentley Glazer. Now, Bloon is a lap down. He's actually trying to catch Hanover Fist. That would be for the lucky dog here on this lap to come out at the end of stage 2. Not going to get it. So Fist with the lucky dog. Brian Smith sweeps the stages. And the drivers getting stage points here in stage 2 are Brian Smith, Braxton DeWeese, Cody Neal, Bentley Glazer, Patrick Colby, Adam Ball, Jacob Smith, Kyle Diaz, Charles Widener, and Brock Hersey. While everyone tries to figure out what they want to do for their final stage strategy, we're going to step away for our final commercial break of the night and be right back for stage 3 action in the Homestead Miami 240 with the Icon Cup Series on SRM. And we're back. 104 laps in the books with the Icon Cup Series and the Homestead Miami 240. Brian Smith has swept both stages so far. He's been the car to beat. He's led 83 laps on the night. Ryan Patty has led 19, but he's kind of fallen back. He tried to stretch the fuel as well on that last stage. Did make it to pit road, but came in almost the last car in the lead laps, and he's going to start near the back here on this restart. But it's Brian Smith and Cody Neal out front. Braxton DeWeese in third. Patrick Colby and Bentley Glazer there in your top five. Ryan Patty trying something different. It didn't really gain him any positions or stage points, but it might have saved him a set of tires here at the end of the race. DeWeese going to take second. Now he's making a move on Brian Smith. Pulled up to the bumper there, got in the dirty air and had to back off as the car got tight. You know, I feel like the car to watch might be that 87 car, Alan. He has not been in the top 3 necessarily, but every time we see him, it seems like I'm calling him out for being the biggest gainer of the night, and that number just keeps getting bigger. Because now he's gained 10 positions from where he started, up to 4th. And he just seems to be the one car in the field that is happy to make passes and get them done quickly.
Yeah, absolutely here. As we have 54 laps to go here in this final stage.
And you can see how he's been doing it all night. I mean, he started back around 14th, drove up to the top 5, then the caution came out. He pitted, dropped back to 12th, drove back to 7th, then dropped back to 10th again through the pit cycle, drove all the way up to the top 3, then pitted, dropped back to 12th, and has driven his way back up into the top 5. Always on the move is Bentley Glazer tonight.
Got a few drivers grabbing a wall there.
We're running here. It looks like everybody's a little single filed out. We got a pretty good battle here between Jacob Smith and Adam Ball with Kyle Diaz close in tow. Now, this has been a little bit of a weird race, Alan. Like some cars that seemed really fast early on, like the 4, just kind of fell out of that top 3, top 4 spot and haven't marched their way back into it the way I'd expect them to. Ryan Patty now kind of at the tail of the field, back in 11th position. We saw him stretch it on fuel at the end of stage 2, drop back to around 12th, doing that. And now he's just kind of hovering back here. So maybe he's saving fuel, maybe he's trying to do something sneaky again as there's 50 laps to go. But not marching back to the front. I mean, even though he's led 19 laps.
Just 50 laps to go. Ryan Patty trying to get all the points he can. You don't want to bury yourself in this round of 4. There is no way you can get yourself out of a hole if you bury yourself.
Yeah, you can't quite, even if you crash out, you're not really going to eliminate yourself mathematically, but you are going to eliminate yourself from just that kind of belief in that it's possible and the momentum you need to carry into these final 3 races. Next week is Martinsville. You're going to have to be on top of the wheel and on top of your game all race long to get it done there. And it'd be nice if you came in with a little bit of a cushion so you wouldn't have to be too nervous about a DNF or heavy damage.
Exactly.
But Brian Smith sweeping those 2 stages, I mean, he's already added 20 points to his point total. So even though everybody kind of started at that even spot of 5,000 points in the final 4, he's already out to a huge lead even before he wins this race if he stays where he is now.
Yeah, and we're single filed out with 47 laps to go here, and just stage 3 just being this is it. This is for all the marbles. Now the question is when do you pull the proverbial parachute to come down pit road?
Yeah, this is going to be the longest run of the night. Drivers going closer to 60 laps instead of 50, like the first 2 stages. And so I think if you're running the numbers, the amount of fuel you're going to have to take to make it to the end makes a 2-tire stop, I think, the ideal solution. Because you're going to have to spend that much time putting fuel in the car anyway. Why not grab 2 tires? You just have to be careful that it doesn't get the car too loose. Usually with these next-gen cars, going with 2 tires loosens the car up, makes it rotate easier, makes it harder to get back in the throttle. And this is the
end of the wall.
I'm going to say, before he got in the wall, that was the closest battle on the track. Colby to 4th. About a second out of the lead. Trying to track down Cody Neal for 3rd. While we take a look at our teams tonight, Buddy Motorsports, all 3 drivers in the top 5 right now. Nothing wrong with that. Patrick Colby out there for Dragonfly Racing. He's in 4th. Adam Ball leading the ECR teammates. Ryan Patty now up to 10th. Kyle Diaz representing Gone Wrong Racing. Charlie Widener for Highline in 9th. Brock Hersey, the only driver out there tonight for CCR, Collar City Racing. And Hanover Fist for TDA Motorsports. Running in 13th. We saw him get that lucky dog at the end of the stage, so he's in 13th, and there are 13 cars on the lead lap. Robert Bloom and Chris Camburn are both 1 lap down, battling for that lucky dog. And he's still got some visible damage. It looks better than it did earlier, but Camburn just been working on that car all night. Been our biggest wrench wrangler with almost 3 minutes of repairs done on that 88 car. Still just 1 lap down. That's not a bad recovery, and there's still time to maybe catch another caution, get some more repairs done, and get back up to speed.
Jake Champion wins the race at the beer stand here, as he's the first car out of the race.
That's right. He parked it, what, 12 laps ago?
Yep.
Smith still out front now, 7/10 of a lead over Braxton DeWeese. And right now, Brian Smith and Cody Neal are the 2 fastest cars. The top 4 drivers by position are the top 4 fastest cars, with Bentley Glazer 5th fastest and 6th. I expect these drivers to kind of stay in this position for now until the tires start to wear out, or somebody decides it's time to go to pit road.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Braxton DeWeese is not going to be content riding behind Brian Smith for too long.
No, I think that's, even more than if you were in 3rd place. 2nd place feels so close to the lead. It makes you hungry to get that trophy. Top 6 now spread out across about 3 seconds. Cody Neal trying to track down Braxton Deweese. Been riding in his wake for a couple laps now. And you can see how hard he works just to keep that left headlight poked out into the clean air as much as he can. This time to the high side. And again, talked about this. The strategy is you kind of wait to see what the guy in front of you is going to do, and you do the opposite. If he goes low, you go high. And you can see how Cody Neal's making that work. He's going to peek to the inside and then tuck back in. And just keep about a half of his car out in the clean air. And that's really all it takes to stay competitive. You don't need the whole car out in clean air necessarily. Now up high. Drifts all the way to the wall. Woo! Making me nervous, Alan.
Not me.
Great battle here for second place between Braxton Deweese and Cody Neal. With 37 laps to go, and looks like the sun is all the way set at this point. It's all under the lights for the final 36 laps. Deweese still having a little bit of a blinking issue. Really hope that doesn't affect the end of his race. Ryan Patty to the inside of Kyle Diaz with Adam Ball just behind him. This is a battle for 7th. So Patty is making his way up through the field gaining positions. But he's 5 seconds out of the lead, 2 seconds to the next position of Jacob Smith. It looks like Hanover Fist just picked up a meatball on that last lap, Alan.
Yeah, that's not good for Hanover Fist.
Why don't we take a look, see if we can see what happened. I mean, he's down on the apron. I wonder if he had had some sort of engine damage and it finally blew up on him. I don't know. It kind of looks like that left front tire isn't spinning. Take a look as he goes by. Yeah, he's had some sort of damage. See if we can back it up and find it. Here he is 2 laps before getting the meatball flag. And that 69 he had picked up, the lucky dog, got him back on the lead lap. Man, it looks clean so far. Ooh, there it is. I wonder if he was trying to get to pit road maybe and came too late and instead slammed the inside pit wall. And gave him that serious damage. So he's still on pit road getting that taken care of. Meanwhile, Brian Smith is still out front with Braxton Deweese in second, Cody Neal in third. .32 laps to go. Charles Woods just picked up a black flag 1 lap ago. Let's see what happened to him. Looks like he might have already been through the grass at that point. He had come to pit road. Might have had an unsafe exit getting into the grass. Let's fast forward it up right here. Oh, it's actually Jacob Smith is the one that was in the grass. That caused Woods to swerve around him and get an unsafe exit and pick up a black flag. It looks like race control has cleared that with good reason based on what we saw.
We might have to have that one reviewed.
Now let's go back here. It is Jacob Smith going off track. I'm guessing he just gets loose when he mashes the gas to get off pit road, and that's exactly what happened. And there it is. So we've had about half the field has hit pit road by now for what should be their final stop. Take a look. So Brian Smith, Braxton DeWeese, Cody Neal, Bentley Glazer, Ryan Patty, and Charlie Widener have not pitted. Kyle Diaz, Patrick Colby, Adam Ball, Brock Hersey, Charles Woods, Jacob Smith have all pitted. Robert Balloon and Hanover Fist are in pitting right now. So Kyle Diaz is going to end up being the first driver with a full tank and at least 2 fresh tires. Patrick Colby is going to be the first one on 4 fresh tires. And Colby's just about 3 seconds behind Diaz if you wanted to try and get past him for that lucky dog as they run. Widener and Glazer are hitting pit road. 28 to go. So most people kind of splitting this at least near the middle. But if history is any indicator, we know Brian Smith probably going to run this as long as he can. It worked for him in the last stage. Neal and DeWeese are still battling. And it seems like these two have been fighting for P2 for the last 20 laps. Neal tags the wall a little bit. Still going to get a good run.
One thing I want to point out, Shane, is the last time we were here, this race was won on fuel mileage.
And Braxton DeWeese just went to pit road. So now just 3 drivers remain at the front that have not pitted. Ryan Patty's one of them. Do you think he's going to try and save fuel and run it out again? I don't think he can do it. He'd need an extra 8 laps over what he accomplished last time. And riding along with Ryan doesn't sound like he's pushing that clutch in and coasting at all. Here comes Brian Smith. Down pit road. 33 laps on the run. Gonna have 25 to go. So Cody Neal's now out front in the lead. About a 5-second lead over Ryan Patty. Bentley Glazer is the lucky dog, and you can see him just to the right of your screen. He's going to be doing his best to unlap himself the natural way. And he's going to do it because Neal's coming to pit road.
Easy, easy, easy. Okay.
But Patty stays out.
That looked really, really close to speeding penalty.
So now Kyle Diaz is the lucky dog, and he's right there in the 26. He's going to try to get his lap back to get out of that position. That would leave Braxton DeWeese in the lucky dog position. Just a few seconds back.
$24 to go.
Patty is not making it easy for him.
Oh. That was almost disastrous.
Yeah, that's a. I'm not exactly sure why Patty wants to race Diaz so hard there, but they're still side by side. And you gotta stay out at least one more. Braxton DeWeese has caught them. And you can see, ooh, almost 3 wide. DeWeese going around. There they are, 3 wide.
They're 3 wide now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Patty racing hard. He's in the lead, just 5 cars on the lead lap until he comes to pit road and kind of resets the field. And if you're DeWeese, you got to be thinking like, well, why are you making it so hard on us, brother? There he goes. Braxton and Diaz both go around. Patrick Colby's the next in line. He's sitting in the lucky dog trying to get his lap back. Ryan Patty still out on track now for 36 laps. And Brian Smith is in second. He took 2 tires. Bentley Glazer with 2, Cody Neal with 2. DeWeese is the first car on 4 tires. And most of that group, they pitted around the same time, so not a huge discrepancy in tire life. Diaz with an issue. He's going to lose that lap back to Patty. And maybe the position to Colby as well. Ooh, Diaz into the wall. And this is some wild racing for drivers just trying to get back on the lead lap while Patty is trying to stretch his fuel and tires.
20 laps, and you can see Brian Smith closing in. Here he comes down pit road. Easy, nice. He knows he can't make it, but once he pits right here, he can make it to the end.
So it seems like 2 tires has been the preferred choice, at least for the folks that should cycle through to the top 3. That's Brian Smith, Bentley Glazer, and Cody Neal. And Glazer is right there. He's only 9/10 behind Brian Smith. Glazer pitted 3 laps before Brian, and that helped him make up some track position. Again, for most of the night, tire fall off not huge, about 3/4 of a second. Maybe as much as 1 second when you've run all the way through the run. But short pitting by 3 laps gives Bentley Glazer probably a 1.5 seconds of track position, and he's caught up to Brian Smith by doing it, gotten up to P2. We mentioned him a while ago as the driver to watch. He's just been kind of over and over making his way back to the front, back to the top 5. Right now he's running second after starting 14th.
Yeah, absolutely. What a night. He's an up and down night here with 18 laps to go. He's trying to, at least build some momentum for next season.
Yeah, Glazer was a driver that made the playoffs and then was eliminated in the early rounds. So he's trophy hunting here. Not worried about points. I'm not sure Brian Smith is worried about points either, having already swept the stages and running in the lead with 17 to go. Jacob Smith's night completely derailed after that spin getting off pit road.
Yeah,
all the way back in 12th. He's the last car on the lead lap right now. And his teammate at Buddy Motorsports is in his mirror about to put him a lap down.
No relations, just a coincidence.
And now that they've cycled out, as Ryan Patty hit pit road, he's got Kyle Diaz right back in his mirror, and you got to think that Kyle's remembering, hey, 2 laps ago I had fresh tires and you were holding me up. But now Patty with the fresher tires.
Ryan Petty's got 14 laps to get back to the front.
Yeah, he went with 2 tires as well, so I'm not sure how much ground he can gain. Braxton DeWeese is still the highest driver on 4 tires. Patrick Colby behind him on the same strategy, but he's about 3 seconds further back. And DeWeese is running consistently about 1/10 of a second faster than the leader. But that is nowhere near enough to catch Brian Smith in the next 13 laps.
Braxton's going to need a caution. He's going to need one now.
Ryan Patty now working on Patrick Colby. Gonna take away 5th place. And our playoff drivers condensing back towards the front here as this thing is winding down. All 4 drivers in the top 6.
Don't forget to tune in next week as we head to Martinsville Speedway for the second race in the round of 4.
We gotta find a way to distribute some virtual hot dogs.
Oh yeah, so
those Martinsville hot dogs are quite delicious if you've never had one.
I haven't even been to Martinsville, much less had a hot dog from Martinsville.
It's a great track for spectators as long as you're up, about halfway in the stands. You can see the whole track. I had the privilege of being there back in, let's see, it would have been 2010 when Denny Hamlin won with a ruptured Achilles tendon and passed about 12 cars in the final 5 laps to win that one. That was really impressive.
.300 laps of short track racing action next week from Martinsville. And then November 2nd, we head to Phoenix for the season finale.
Phoenix always puts on a great show, whether it's a finale or not. Elbows out racing, you got to save the tires, a little bit of fuel strategy if it stays green. That should be a great finale here for Icon. Alright, Glazer starting to eat into that lead ever so slightly. He had it down to 6/10 a lap ago, but now Brian's starting to stretch it out again, 7/10. As they have just 9 laps to go. Take a look at their lap time. So Glazer has been faster than Brian Smith for the last 5 laps. Keep an eye on this as the gap is about 7 or 8 tenths now. No close battles for position on track right now. So we're going to stick with the leader. And Glazer that time, Brian Smith was faster, but only by about 0.03 of a second.
Breaking news right now, Shane.
What's that?
Brad Sweet, the big cat Brad Sweet, announces his retirement from full-time racing.
Wow.
Finished second in high limit points to Rico Abreu this season.
Six laps to go. Run through the field real quick for you here. Brian Smith is out front, and he has not dropped below 4th all night. He's led 127 laps and is set to lead 6 more and take the win. Bentley Glazer started in 14th and has been up and down all day, but is finishing on the up. Ryan second. Cody Neal never dropped out of the top 10, but never quite got to the lead. Did lead 1 lap there. I think that was under a pit cycle, perhaps, on that last pit stop. And then Braxton Deweese dropped as low as 15th through a green flag pit cycle, but otherwise never dropped out lower than 6th or 7th. Had made his way up to the top 3 a couple times, but right now riding in 4th. 5th place, Ryan Patty. Started up front on the pole. He's also managed to lead 26 laps throughout the course of the race. Right now running 5th after he tried to stretch the fuel at the end of stage 2, and that kind of shook up his strategy for the night. Started back in 12th at the beginning of stage 3 and has marched his way up to 5th. Then Patrick Colby in 6th. Another driver with kind of an up and down night, never quite breaking into the lead, but being up to the top 3 a number of times. And Kyle Diaz in 7th. Took him a while to get into the top 5, but once he got there, he kind of stayed floating around 5th to 7th for the second half of the race. He's in 7th right now with 3 to go. Adam Ball is in 8th. He's had an up and down night as well. Made his way up to 4th a couple times. Right now running in 8th. Charles Woods in 9th. I'd say that's pretty good. He caught a lucky dog at one point. Had dropped as low as 16th on 2 occasions. Is now going to finish in the top 10 if he stays where he is. Just 2 laps to go. Charlie Widener, another driver. A lot of drivers having up and down nights. He gets sideways right as we cut to him. Keeps it straight though. He got as high as 6th through some of the pit cycles. Right now going to ride home in 10th, it looks like. That's your top 10, but out front, it's Brian Smith like it's been most of the race. As he comes down the backstretch for the final time tonight, here in Stage 3 of the Homestead Miami 240. He stretches lead out to over a second and a half over Bentley Glazer. And he is kissing the wall on the final lap. Coming out of turn 4, Brian Smith going to win here at Miami. Bentley Glazer is second, and Cody Neal is third.
What a race here. Dominating performance by Brian Smith and Buddy Motorsports. Bentley Glazer brings it home second. Cody Neal rounds out your podium.
Pretty exciting race. All 4 drivers in the final 4 in the top 6, but only one of them swept both stages and is going to get a podium finish. That's Brian Smith up front. As he brings it around to do some celebrating here on the front stretch. There's your winning moment with Brian Smith. Still rocking that Michigan Humane Society paint scheme. We thought it was the Johnsonville scheme that was bringing him all the good luck, but it seems like it might be the driver, Alan.
I think it is the driver.
That is going to be his 14th win this season. And this one comes at a pretty great time. Couldn't come at a better time here at the first race of the round of 4 at Homestead. Sweeping the stages and grabbing the win. He's going to be having a nice buffer heading to Martinsville and then Phoenix.
He continues to burn it down. I don't think he's running that thing out of fuel yet.
Oh, there it goes. We heard the engine blow right as we hopped on board. Well, that's going to wrap up celebrations.
In a big way.
We'll see if we can get some of our podium drivers up here for an interview. Let's see. Third place driver is Cody Neal. We've got Cody in the booth for you, Alan.
Cody, is Shane and Alan up in the SRM booth. How's it going?
Good, guys. I got a copy. Got you loud and clear.
Hey, look, man. You know, Buddy Motorsports finishes first and third on the podium. Take us to that race and what more you could have needed to get around Bentley Glazer tonight.
Oh, man. I don't know. I got in the wall a few times. I was ripping the top the second half of the race, and it wore tires a little bit more, but I feel like it was a little bit faster. I was keeping pace minus the times I hit the wall, obviously, but no, hats off to Bentley and Brian, man. They were fast. Braxton too. I think he just kind of took the wrong strategy there at the final pit stop, but and the whole top five, really, even Patrick Colby, they were all fast. I honestly probably don't even think I had the speed to be where I was, but we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week we go to Martinsville. What's your perspective on Martinsville? What are you looking to get out of that track to get that 38 car back up to victory lane?
Oh man, just keep the nose clean. That's for sure. Keep it out of the mess and keep damage to a minimum, and hopefully qualify up front. I've had some good qualifying runs there in the past, and we'll see what we can do.
All right, good stuff, man. Before we get you out of here, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done there on that number 38 car?
Buddy Motorsports, as always, putting in the time during the week. Brian really dialing it in and sharing all the info. You guys always putting on this great broadcast throughout the entire season. Shout out to you guys, of course. And Ryan, Patty, and all the other league admins hosting the league. Been a great season, and looking forward to continuing.
All right, good job. Well, congratulations on that podium. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Next up, going to be P2 finisher Bentley Glazer, driver the number 87. Bentley, you got a copy?
Yep, I got it.
All right. I mean, it seemed like all race long, every time we check in with you, you were up 2 more positions than you were the time before. You ended up 12 positions ahead of where you started tonight's race. Couldn't quite track down that 78, but neither could anybody else. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, it's a pretty calm night. I wanted to ride in the back for a little bit because I was just not feeling like racing today. So I started in the back and took 2 tires at the last stop there, and it held up. I was losing them at the end there.
Oh man, I'd be scared to see how fast you are when you're in the mood for a race then. I thought you had great speed all night. We kind of watched you, like I said, move up all night, and then by the middle we were saying that 87 car is the one to watch, so we were happy to see you drive up and get a podium there at the end. I mean, you mentioned you took 2 tires at the end. What was your thought process there to decide how many tires to take? It seemed like a couple drivers tried 4 tires that just didn't pay off over the course of the run.
Yeah, I just thought if I could pit earlier, then I was in 4th place, I think, and I didn't worry about Brian at all. I didn't think I had a chance, so I took the 2 tires thinking battle for 3rd, and it just so happened I was able to get 2nd.
Nothing wrong with P2. Congratulations on the podium finish. Anybody else you got to thank for your run tonight?
Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks, Brian, Patty, and everyone at Icon. And thanks, Charlie Woods, for racing with me.
Yeah, a lot of great racing out there on the track tonight. We had fun watching, so congratulations on that. You going to have anything for them next week at Martinsville?
We'll see. I haven't been to Martinsville in forever, so hopefully we can put on a good race. Not too many cautions.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations again. We'll let you get out of here. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.
And then last but not least, of course, Brian Smith, driver of the 78 and winner of the Homestead Miami 240. You got a copy?
I got you, Shane.
All right. I mean,
Yeah.
you led 133 laps. We'll start with that, and I'll let Alan ask you the questions.
Oh, no, go for it. You
I mean, we were chatting a little bit in the broadcast about how we thought it was the Johnsonville paint scheme that was bringing you the luck this season. Then you switch over to the Michigan Humane Society, and I'm not sure which one's gotten more wins, but I believe that was your 14th win on the season. You're close to matching. I think you had 15 last year, if I remember correctly. So you're close 15. To matching that. As you know, through the course of the playoffs, you have those bonus points each round it resets. But this round is one where everyone starts on even ground, and it's almost like you took that personally, went out, swept the stages, and then the race. And this is going to give you a great buffer heading into Martinsville, which is going to be a little bit of an unknown, especially with this next-gen car. I feel like it's so hard to get it to rotate on the short tracks, and contact is almost inevitable. So what's your outlook going into the next 2 races to finish these playoffs out?
Well, everything you just said is 100% accurate. Martinsville is a total wild card. So, yeah, it was important for me to go out tonight and, win the race was one thing, but it was nice that there were a few spots between me and I think Bentley was maybe the second highest Final Four driver. I'd have to look at the standings, but yeah, it really could not have gone much better. I mean, I knew, Bentley, Patrick, and Ryan were all going to be fast tonight, so I definitely had to bring my A game and not make any mistakes, understand the right pit strategies to call, and get out front and enjoy that clean air. And that was exactly what happened. And here we are talking to you in victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think Braxton is the other driver in a Final Four you're thinking about, and all four of you guys seem like you were in the top 5 for most of the race, and then Patty threw that kind of a wrench into the strategies by stretching fuel, and then he fought back from that. He ended up finishing 5th. Even after that, kind of didn't play out necessarily how he was hoping. We're guessing. But yeah, just phenomenal race by everybody, keeping it pretty clean. We saw a couple solo spins and things, but that was really all it was. And just some good, hard racing. We were 3 wide multiple times. I think the Icon League just is a great example of how to race hard and clean at the same time. So I want to thank all the drivers for putting on a great show tonight. And like you said, you're heading into the final 2 races of the season. It's been a long one, but it's been a fun one. So who else do you got to thank for your great run here tonight, and what's your strategy going into the final 2 races?
Well, just to follow up on what you were saying, everyone does do a great job in this league, keeping it green and racing respectful. I mean, it's been so much fun to spend Sunday nights with these guys all year long, and I don't know if I'll be back next year, so we'll have to do our best here to finish it out with a championship. So that's why I race in this league. I think everyone does a great job, and it's fun to race with my friends. So yeah, thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. You guys have gotten so much better as the season's gone on. You do a great job, and tons of fun racing with everyone out on track tonight. And yeah, we'll see you at Martinsville.
All right, we'll let you get out of there and finish celebrating this win. Congratulations again, and we'll see you out there next week in Martinsville.
Yep, thanks, Shane.
What a race, Alan. I mean, it was, in terms of laps led, Brian kind of ran away with it, but the strategies were all over the place. Every combination of fuel and tires, and going for the stage or going for the win, drivers coming and going all night. And that was a fun one.
Yeah, just 2 races left here in the season, and it all comes down to Phoenix at the end of the week or end of the season. But next week we go to Martinsville, Virginia, where it's going to be gloves off. I mean, these guys are fighting for everything here as we head into Phoenix. And, I'm going to say it next week. I'm going to say it this week. Next week, it's going to be all bent sheet metal and hurt feelings for 300 laps. But nonetheless, Shane, I want to thank you also for a great season. Also, so far here as we work our way to the end of the season. So, you're the man behind the 1s and the 2s and everything in between, making it happen, making sure that we go off without a hitch. So, I mean, you got to thankless job yourself. But nonetheless, before we get out of here, as the late great Tony Trapasso would always say, as you walk through the streets of life, well, we're going to go down our final rundown first.
Yeah, all right, we'll run through it quick here. It's Brian Smith, Bentley Glazer, Cody Neal, your podium, then Braxton DeWeese and Ryan Patty, the top 5. Patrick Colby, Kyle Diaz, Adam Ball, Charles Woods, Charlie Widener, the top 10. Brock Hersey, Jacob Smith, Robert Bloom, Chris Camburn, Hanover Fist, and Jake Champion back to 16th. And like I said, I'm pretty sure Brad Delph was running race control tonight, as he did not start the race, but he is technically finished in 17th. And now I'll let you do the closeout, Alan.
Well, as I was saying before, as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic, everybody. Good night.